Hey, Ghost Machine fans, this one's for you.
Welcome to the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast, episode 105. It's been 1 week since the release of the Sisterhood, a Hyde Street Story trade paperback, and around here, that means it's time to celebrate. That's right, we're back with another fantastic interview with not one, but two superstar Ghost Machine creators. I'm Becky, and I'm joined as always by my partner in crime, Nick. My dear, would you like to tell us about our celebrity guests?
It would be my pleasure. Our first guest is making her triumphant return for her second appearance on the show. Before Ghost Machine, she worked on CW's Stargirl. In 2024, she was the writer on the Horrorverse expansion one-shot, It Happened on Hyde Street, Devour. And most recently, in 2025, she wrote the highly acclaimed Sisterhood, a Hyde Street Story. It's Maytal Zchut. Maytal, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. This was my podcast debut, so it's I'm excited to come back, especially with my partner in crime.
Absolutely. Our second guest appears not only for her first time on the Ghost Machine Fans podcast, but for her first time in tandem with Maytal. This artist is responsible for incredibly surreal and mind-bending panels in such titles as Mother of Madness, created by Amelia Clark, Alters for Aftershock Comics, Shock Shop at Dark Horse, and most recently, Ghost Machines, It Happened on Hyde Street, Devour, and Sisterhood, a Hyde Street Story. It's my pleasure to introduce Leila Leiz. Leila, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. We are so excited to have you on the show from across the pond, right?
Yes, same here.
Yes. Awesome. So we just wanted to remind everyone and the listeners that on this show, there are a few questions that were sent in by Ghost Machine fans because you were kind enough, Maytal, to send us a couple of autographed copies of Sisterhood #1. And we're giving those away to the folks that sent these questions in. So if you're listening to the podcast on today, which is Wednesday, April 29th, then you'll already have the results of that giveaway available to you. And it's going to be for some of the folks we're going to be talking about here in a few minutes. So thanks very much for doing that, Maytal. That was very generous of you.
No problem. I'm happy to do it.
So our first question is for Leila. So Leila, we understand you're a French comic book artist currently based in Italy. So tell us a little bit about your origin story as an artist and what led you to working on comics in the United States.
Okay. It's been a long time ago. I was 8, something like 8, and I was just used to spend my vacation at my grandmother's house. And I was bored and trying to, I was looking inside the closet and, like the kids do usually when they're bored. And I find, drawing with, also tools for drawing like charcoal and pencils and things like that. And I was wondering who did that. And my grandmother told me it was my father, and he was, penciler. He loved art, but he gave up. And so I spent all the summer drawing, with the paper of my father's, trying to copy what he was doing. And since this day, I never stopped. So I just discovered that it was what I love. And especially I have also the same, love. I start to love art and I never stopped. So now I'm stuck. Thanks to my dad.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you found out your dad was an artist by rummaging for fun things to do?
Yes. And I never knew. I was too young also, but it's something that he kept for himself. Like he gave up, but it was like his little, but when he saw me starting to draw, he was really happy. Like I was, living his dream, by the way. So, because it's a privilege to draw. It's not easy. A lot of artists struggle to find their place, and even talented artists have difficulties, and so it's really hard work. And he also told me that when I started, he said, "Be careful, it's not that easy." So there's talent, there's also luck, a lot of luck.
A lot of talent, though. A lot of talent coming from you. Yeah, it's, I mean, skill, too. Like, but that's an amazing story. I'm actually not even sure I knew that. That's really beautiful. Yeah.
So how did you go from doing that to working in this medium in the United States?
I wanted to draw art. I was like painting, doing classic art, and I was not that much. It's not easy because you see, I'm really introvert and shy, and in this business, you need to be, really like when you see the artists like Picasso, Dali, they are extraverted. They are not like me at all. So to find my place in this world was very difficult. And by chance and by hazard, I just entered in the manga shop and in Paris, and there was a little corner of comics. It was really small, and I was attracted by this, not manga that much. It was really more my ex-boyfriend a long time ago when I was a teenager, but he used to love manga, and I was not attracted to this too much. But when I discovered comics, I was like, I find the grail, the holy grail. Like I was, what? This is wonderful. And I started to draw for becoming, I want to tell story. This is really what I wanted. And it was also, yes, it was a wonderful moment because I knew exactly why I was drawing.
Wow. That's amazing. As someone that does not have any artistic ability of that nature, what you do is a mystery to me. So knowing all of that it's amazing. So thank you for sharing that with us. So
that's funny that you said that, Nick, because I was about to say the same thing. I cannot draw at all. And our son does, like, he has gotten really into anime and manga lately, and he's drawing and he's shading, and I'm like, wow. Yeah. So just knowing like art with motion and a story, I get the idea behind it, but I could not execute it at all.
Yeah, the same
I
for
feel
me
the same. I feel the same. That's Leila and I talk about that all the time. I'm like, I could not draw to save my life. Like, I will give you a great stick figure. No, it's not even a great stick figure. It's a bad stick figure. Yeah.
So how did you end up with Ghost Machine, Leila?
They just contacted me.
Oh,
well,
cool.
Actually, I feel like I can contribute to that. So
yes,
I'm not going to say so basically we were looking for artists for Devour. And Brian Cunningham, our editor, was like gathering artists, and we were looking. I'm not going to lie, like I'm not going to name any names, but we looked at a ton of artists, and none of them were the right fit. It's not that they weren't incredible artists; they weren't the right fit, and it didn't really honestly speak to me. Like every artist that we saw, we were like, I don't know, and all of us kind of together were like, this isn't really the style we're looking for. This isn't the person we're looking for, whatever it was. And then I remember seeing Leila's art for the first time because Brian Cunningham was the one who found her. And I was just like moved by it. I was amazed by it. And we were, all of us collectively were like, this is the person. Like, this is who we want to draw Devour. And this is, who we want to be. Like, I wanted to, partner with Leila. And then we ended up talking and Zooming and everything. And we connected instantly. And honestly, it was better than anything I could have imagined, because it's like, I was thinking, wow, I'm going to get work with this incredible artist. And Leila is also an incredible person and an incredible friend. And like, I feel very grateful to Brian for finding her and contacting her, and for Leila for agreeing to do Devour and then, ending up here.
Can I add something also? It's that before you contacted me at working, I was like giving up. I was like, I stopped to do comics and I'm going to more concentrate on classic art, going back to painting and things like that. So I was like, I will never go back to comics. And when I have the script of Maytal, I said, no, I'm not going back. I'm going to give it another try. And since then, I find a lot to go back to comics and tell stories. So yes.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. So we know that at Ghost Machine, the writer artist relationship tends to be a lot more open and collaborative than most things at the big two. So what's that like for you two? What's your creative process like together?
So it was different when we did Devour, and we've both talked about this too, but like it was different when we did Devour to when we did Sisterhood, and both were incredible collaborations and both were an amazing process. But in Devour, we were still getting to know each other, and we were really getting to know each other through like the art and the scripts, and like me sending scripts and Leila sending art, and we were already connecting and collaborating through that. And then when we started Sisterhood, I had the chance to go to Italy, and so we met in person. And then after that, we started Zooming like every week because, it's far away. I can't go to Italy every week as much as I'd love to. But, we started Zooming every week and talking and connecting and talking about the projects and every little detail about it. Like, so it wasn't just like, it wasn't sending scripts, and it wasn't just the sending scripts and getting the art back and responding that way. It was also discussions, like deep discussions about character and about everything, about character, about story, about life, about, everything. And we just got to know each other, and it made our collaboration so much deeper because I feel like we really understand each other. And we kind of made sure that we were always on the same page about everything, literally and figuratively.
I see what you did there.
What I can add, I will add that I started to work with French editor, and we have in France this relationship with the writers. Really, like we were a team, and to make the project really look more like a fusion, like it be fusion together.
Yep.
So, but I never felt really that. I mean, it was great collaboration, but with Maytal it's totally different. Probably because we have this connection. It's really like when she starts to speak, it's like she's talking as I want, the things I want to say, and she do it better than me because she wrote the story like I wanted to write it, and there's a lot of respect. There's a lot of we are fans from each other. I love her writing. She loves what I'm doing. There's respect. There's communication, and it's perfect. It's really, I would say, one of my preferred relation with writers. Sorry for the other.
It's my favorite relationship with an artist. I mean, it's exactly the partnership that I would want in any capacity. Like we feel like a team. Like I feel like we're partners, we're teammates. Like it just feels that way to me all the time. Like when I think about what I'm doing, I've said this before, but like I want to inspire Leila, and Leila inspires me. So I want to make sure that, when I'm writing to Leila. Like if Leila doesn't like it, then I don't really care. Like it can go in the garbage. I don't, it doesn't matter to me unless Leila likes it. Like, so if Leila feels inspired by it, like then I feel like I've done the job that I want to do. That's what's most important to me.
And it's really hard that you throw something. I love everything. So
no, I'm not. Yeah, you hate when I do when I change things because you're like, I already
because she have these things crazy. She give me, there will be this scene. So in my head, I start to build the story and how we draw the scene and the characters and everything. And she said, "There's no more. This scene disappeared."
And then everything changes.
It's because I can't help but pitch Leila every single thought like that's in my head, which can sometimes, it's a double-edged sword because it's like she gets excited about it, which is great. But then at the same time, like if I end up moving away from it, it's like, oh no, I know Leila loved that scene and now I have to get rid of it. And like, so it can be really challenging, but it's just because I want to share honestly everything, with you. I want to share everything and every part of the story. And you are my collaborator. So it's like, it's important for me that we're having discussions about everything and that we're on, doing everything the way we both want to do it and not just like my story, draw it however I want it. Like that doesn't make sense because everything you do is not just additive. It creates the story. It makes the story what it is. So the art is a huge part of it. And I think any writer who doesn't realize that, like they're selling them, like they're losing out because they're not thinking, the artist is bringing this to life. The artist is like giving me something that I can't do myself. Like if they want an artist to do exactly what's on the page or exactly what's in their brain, like then you're thinking, oh, I'm the only one who can do it, which is not the best way to think, because we are a team. And that's kind of what it comes down to.
You can really tell the cohesiveness. Like when Nick and I were reviewing each of the books separately, there are some ways that you guys did panels where they would be in water droplets or in pieces of glass, and like you guys working through that. Was that a little bit of the writing and a little bit of the artists? Like it's so good on the way it helps tell the story.
Yeah, I think Leila can speak to that.
Oh, it's as I said before, I come from French comics, and in French it's really like square. You cannot get out from the square. You have to draw inside, and most of the time it's really like old school. I don't know how to. But
yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
Yes, and with comics, this is why I love the first time I've seen a comic books. I was like, oh, we can do that. We can draw whatever we want. We can have, the characters get out from the panel and use, like you said, the water drop and elements. You can be artistic. It's more artistic. You can create palette with creative panel. And that's why I don't have limits. I just do whatever I want. And and also I also follow the script, because if for example there's a scene of fire, I imagine that, or even the panel are the element of the story.
I really wanted to ask you both about this, right? Because we were wondering, when we see these panels that are separated by like smoke in a fire, when they're in the fire, that like adds value to this reading experience that you don't see in a lot of comics. That brings us into it. And like other scenes where I remember one where it's when it's Violet trying to get out of the water, and it's like towards the end during the fire, but you made the panel curved, like it was like concave, like she couldn't get out of it. And so is to Maytal's point of collaboration and not drawing exactly what's in the script, is that kind of thing in the script, or is the scene in the script and then you do that with the panels?
It's not, I would say I don't specify those things in the script. Like Leila comes up with so much of the artistic elements of the script. Like I will write like panel 1, this happens, but Leila will take it and determine how that is visually. And, we discuss it, but I would credit it to Leila.
And even when they are square, sometimes you'll have panels they'll like drop through the page, and you can feel like that momentum, even because they're at a different angle. And so I read a lot of comic books, Leila, and this is very uncommon. This is wonderful. This is something that makes reading your work profoundly more fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's awesome.
Thank you. But I will give you credit for some pages, Maytal, because for example, the one with in the jail, it was your idea. You remember?
Oh, the bars?
That was my idea. I did put that was in the script. I mean, it's not like, sometimes I think about it visually, obviously, because I'm writing the script, so I have to think about it visually. But I think, the way that I know that Leila will add so much to it. Like, I don't always feel like I need to write every single piece, because I know she'll fill in the blanks, like,
right,
and make it exactly what it is. So, and sometimes we discuss it. Like, I remember with, I believe it was the car crash scene when we discussed like what that would look like visually. And I think there was something else originally. And then we kind of went back to what it ended up being. And then like, we have discussions about it, but ultimately I do think that is a huge part of, I mean, Leila adds so much to every single part, but like that is something that Leila really does so well. And I'm always impressed by it when I see the page, because I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like, so it's cool.
It's really cool. It's another level of artistry, because you're not just drawing characters in the panel, you're using the panels in a more creative way. So it's awesome. Really cool. We did also want to ask you a little bit about like a detail of the world of the horrorverse and Sisterhood and Hyde Street, because this is more prevalent in Sisterhood, but it was kind of the case in Devour too. Sophie, when she ends up on Hyde Street, like stumbles on Hyde Street, she's trying to find a way to like get like recourse for what happened to Violet. But for all intents and purposes, she seems like she's positioned as a good person. Like she doesn't seem like she has a need to be damned or whatever. And who am I to say? But like she's positioned as a more noble, positive person. But she still ends up on Hyde Street. So does that mean that it's fair to say the residents of Hyde Street can damn the souls of innocents as well as the guilty if they can like tempt them enough? Because that's kind of what happened. She got tempted by what Sisterhood offered, right?
I would say the more of what I would take from it is that you can do something. You can be damned for who's to decide what you can be damned for, right? Like you can be damned for something that's smaller. Like right before Sophie ends up on Hyde Street, she throws a rock through the window and it hits someone in the head. And, it seems like such a small action, but at the end of the day, you can end up on Hyde Street because of something you have done, quote unquote wrong, but everybody in their life has done things that are not less than ideal. And I think that's something that's the interesting part about Hyde Street is like, who's to decide whose soul is to be damned and if what they have done is bad enough to warrant ending up on Hyde Street, And I think there were versions of the scene with Sisterhood where originally where it played a little differently. And, I think that it still makes sense for someone like Sophie even to end up on Hyde Street because, again, even if she seems innocent, like who knows what her past was or the rock through the window. Like there are things you can do that end you up on Hyde Street, even if you're not the worst person in the world,
Yeah. And really in Devour, it was a victim of circumstance through the generations, essentially. But when you guys all started talking about Hyde Street in the very beginning, I remember Jeff saying that anyone can end up on Hyde Street. So thanks for that.
Because it's like, again, like who determines who should be, who determines whether what you've done is bad enough to be damned for. And that's the thing is like, it's the idea. It's kind of, that's what makes Hyde Street so scary too, is like, I may think I'm innocent, but maybe I've done enough, to wind up there. Like that's kind of the idea that anyone really can be a victim of Hyde Street in some capacity.
I like how you ended it as well with Violet going free, because that brings like a different level of horror and like some moral, like Violet did some awful things.
Yeah.
And now she's just frolicking around.
I mean, that's what makes it horror, right? Yeah, like but that's also, I mean, to be honest, when I got to I didn't always know, I knew about how I was going to end it, like the book to begin with, but I didn't know this very ending. And once I was writing it and we were going through and we were, seeing pages and we were starting to discuss it and Leila and I were talking about it, and then I kind of realized there's only one way to end the story. Like in my mind, there's only one ending and it's the one I feel like we chose that's like satisfying, horror, emotional. Like it feels like it hits. It's like this was the only. It's illogical, even in the world that we've created. Like there was one way to end the story, and I think that's what led me there. It just kind of came to me. I was like, oh, I get it now. Like I get what this story and this conclusion is.
Really like the ending of that book.
Yeah.
We had another question for Leila about her inspiration for her art. So you put a lot of really cool process posts, Leila, on social media? Like it'll be like a zoom in of you drawing something and it's in progress, and then you'll tease people like it's coming soon, or I think you have some pages of your own content people can visit. And so your art, you've already told us a lot, but it has a dark, surreal sense. So we were just wondering what your inspiration for that kind of darker art is.
I have so many inspirations, so it's difficult to, not comics, of course, outside comics. Yes. I love museums, so I spend my time on museum. I love the old paintings, so everything old I love. So also the photographer. I love photographer. Photography for me I love it. It's the same media at the same time. So artists, different. I don't know which one I can name. But yes, but most of I don't know, with the time now, I get so much inspired by so many artists, so many things that now it's inside me. I'm like, I become all what I like. So now it's fusion of too many things. And yes, so when I draw, most of the time I go with the models because my inspiration are women. It's women that inspires me the most. And, because I think women are the most beautiful creature in the world. So
Absolutely
so complicated. Right. So, and, I don't know if it's because we have so much hormone inside us. We are, we can go from down to happy to sad. We are electricity. So it's really inspiring. So it can be, pictures. It can be a woman that I see also on the street can inspire me. And, well, my specialty is really women. So I don't draw only women other than comics. It's, this is why it's two things completely different. So one, I most of the time I said to myself, okay, if I focus only on comics, maybe I will be better. But my heart always go on my personal drawing. And when I do my personal drawing, I said, maybe if I just stop comics, I do this, I will be better. But I cannot decide which one I like the most. So I always stuck in the middle. So anyway, so yes. So my inspiration
you can't leave comics because then you can't leave. You're stuck with me. I'm sorry. Yeah.
We all suggest that you just do both. You don't have to decide.
You don't have to choose. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. but since I'm working with you, Maytal, I'm not drawing any more personal stuff. I don't know. I stopped.
I was looking through your Instagram, Leila, and I really like the way you portray women because you are right. We are the most beautiful creatures on the planet. But sometimes that's all we're viewed as. And so like you bring this element of like intelligence and like we can be deadly, we can be strong. Like I really like it. You had one on there very recently with the snakes. It was like the woman laying in the bed of snakes, and I was like, this is great.
Thank you.
Thank you for indulging us. It's like because of your accent, you could say anything and you sound so sophisticated and artful. It's amazing. I could listen to you talk forever. So it's time for us to get to our first fan question for y'all. We have 3 of these, and this first one is the handle is from Instagram, and it's James1215 and _ And the question is, what was one element from a horror series you have seen, movie, show, comic, etc., that you two wanted to incorporate into your work on Sisterhood?
I think to Leila's point earlier, it's like the inspiration is taken from so many things. Like I don't know that there was one thing that we discussed that we were like, we need to use, this particular thing. I mean, I could speak to certain things I was watching at the time or that I was thinking about at the time that inspired me in certain ways. I mean, Leila, did you have a specific, like, when you were doing like Sisterhood, like any specific like inspiration that it was taken from? Oh, and I know your inspiration for Karma too. Like you did have some very specific inspirations, I think.
For Sisterhood, I really like, Muka. Muka. The La Belle Époque in beginning of, it's I don't know what to say in English, sorry. It's, the epoch of Titanic, the boat. It was this period. So
that time period.
yes, this time. I don't know how you call it in English, and there's Muka or Mucha. I don't know if I say it well. Because
I know who you're talking about. It's the same one that the cover was done by. Yeah, it's one or the other. I don't know which
yes.
it is. Yeah.
I mean, this I get inspired by this kind of artist. So this time for Sisterhood, because he looked like really like this time of this period. For Karma, if I don't know what this series. It was American series, really old. It was this family in
the Brady Bunch,
and there was this little girl, really mean, blonde, she was the daughter of the owner of a grocery shop in the town.
Oh, okay. Not very nice.
This
rich, mean rich girl in the town. Yeah.
Mean rich girl in the town series. We're gonna find this later. Yeah.
I just when I was reading the script, I was like, oh, she remembered this little girl, really mean. And also, it was a little cliche, by the way. Karma is really cliche, like,
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of the point of the character, right? Like, it's,
Little House on the Prairie.
Little House on the Prairie?
Yeah. House on the Prairie. I would have.
That is not what I thought you were talking about.
I think we had a VHS of Little House on the Prairie.
10 out of 10 almost said Anne of Green Gables or Little House on the Prairie, but I couldn't remember.
House on the Prairie.
I know what? In France, it was playing since I opened my eyes on Earth. It's playing every and it's still playing the show every time on TV. So
Little House on the Prairie. Oh my God. I don't even think that's I feel like that's such a specific reference. Like, I'm like,
that is not what I thought. I thought you had Marsha Brady or something.
I was thinking like Brady. I honestly was thinking like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm like,
it's really old. I know.
Well, it makes sense, though, that there's a mean girl whose dad owns the grocery store that the nice people at the Little House on the Prairie don't like. So I'll take that. Sure. That's hilarious. Thank you for finding the answer to that very important question.
All right. So our AMA question number 2 is from Murillo or Murillo. It's Murilo. And this question is for Leila. Which you guys both can answer this.
Yeah.
Too. I want you both to answer it. Who is your favorite character from the Hyde Street universe and why?
Go first.
No, I'm like, I want just Leila to answer that. No, I'm just kidding. That's a hard one because it's like, do you pick like one of the characters that we've enjoyed, telling stories about, or do you pick one of the ones from, the general Hyde Street universe? Like, you should go first, Leila, just in case I steal yours.
True.
Okay.
That happens.
It's really difficult question because the one we work with Maytal. I love because we draw and we know them and everything. So, and there's the other universe and others with talented artists and wonderful story that also are, so it's difficult which one. So I would take not with the one I did with Maytal because it's too easy. I would take the other series.
Oh, okay.
So and it's still difficult because they're also good and they're also different also. So it's not the same if you like, apocalyptic story or if you like, it's
so... Well, it's still in the Hyde Street universe. It's got, right? It's in the Hyde Street universe.
I'll listen to whatever she wants to talk about.
Great. You're right. Leila,
if it's Hyde Street, it's totally different. If it's Hyde Street, I can tell you right now which one I like.
Oh, who?
And it's Miss Goodbody.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That
makes sense,
so and I honestly, we were both going to pick out. I was going to say Sisterhood, but I also feel like those are, what, honestly, it's not that for me, that's necessarily like the favorite character of the whole universe, but we spent a lot of time with those characters. So I feel like obviously I can name characters that I love from the main book, But I feel like we spent a lot of time working with these characters and understanding these characters. So if it's someone that I feel like, oh, I really get her, like Sisterhood is one of, like, I just love the character. I love the psychic element. Like, it's really fun for me. So in terms of like what it was more applicable to what we've worked on, but like that's why I love that character, because of all the time we've spent with her, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's interesting to see Miss Goodbody still peppered in a bit, even though we saw her story more focused on earlier. But we still see people walk by her shop, and she's still in there, with the circumstances she's under. But also, I like the relationship between Oscar Oddman and Sisterhood about the butcher, because that's come into play now since
Yeah.
it's hard to say Sisterhood and Sisterhood.
Sisterhood, yeah.
So really loving that character as well. So thanks for indulging us.
Yeah, and honestly, it's hard to even if I was just picking in the main book, like I love all the characters that that have been created there, like that Jeff has created and that the artists have created, and like all of those characters are really amazing characters. So I think it would be hard to even choose from, even if I took out the characters that we've been focusing on. It's really hard to say, because they're really great and amazing and interesting characters, So
For sure.
I'm going to throw this out unsolicited, but actually Miss Goodbody is mine. Because one, the 80s vibe.
Yeah, that's true.
Love.
Yes.
Like kind of that late 80s, early 90s tracksuit windbreaker vibe. And then just as far as like a villain, like obviously Prinky is like, evil. But I think as a villain, playing on people's insecurities is particularly villainous.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Miss Goodbody. The others are good too, of course. But
we have one more AMA question for y'all, and this one is from Francois. And he asks, in Devour, the scene with the baby was so haunting because it removes any chance of consent. It's like the character's relationship with her body is hijacked before it even begins. Did you want to explore the idea that these beauty standards have become an inescapable part of women's DNA, something they're forced to live with before they can even speak?
I think I can answer that. So kind of yes, but I think it's also, there's another layer to it, right? It's not just that it's ingrained in our DNA. It's also that the idea is that it's passed on before we can even speak, right? Like it's passed on to us through generationally to everybody, but like, yes, to women specifically, it's like your mom passes it on, and before you even know it, you already have those ideas ingrained in your brain before you can even think for yourself. That's kind of, I think, where it comes from. So the answer is yes to that question. And also it's the generational trauma element. It's the generational, the idea of your mom giving it to you before you've even had the chance to develop any kind of thought process for yourself.
Well, that was a great question and a great answer.
Great question. Yeah.
I can say very, very confidently that it is my pleasure to be on a podcast about comic books where I am in the minority with three women, and where we could answer a question like that and have it legitimately asked. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great question. And honestly, I think the fact that it was asked too, like, to me, it shows that a lot of what, we were trying to accomplish in Devour came through. Like, because that is such a pivotal scene in the book, obviously. Like that is where you get like the whole concept of the book. So I think the fact that question was asked speaks volumes to what we were able to put on the page.
Absolutely. For sure.
It's personally exciting that it came from a man, to be honest, because I'm sure the two of you would agree to, you did the book together. For women, it's something we've lived with, but sometimes it's hard for that to come through to our men counterparts.
I would agree. And also, I
Mhm.
do think nowadays, what was great about Devour, especially after it came out, because I totally agree with you, Becky. It's like we were very much thinking about it from our perspective as we were, as we were doing it. And we were thinking about it from a female perspective and what we've gone through. But I found that after the book came out, especially, and even before that, I was thinking about it, like there are men that deal with a lot of the same kind of shame and body shame.
Right.
And it's not to say that it is still a story that comes from our, the perspective of
Mhm.
a woman. But I actually found that very interesting that a lot of people were like, yeah, it speaks to me too. And they got the concept, even if it wasn't necessarily their personal story. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I love. I love that it kind of spoke to people of both genders or all genders,
Yeah.
Right.
It's a great book.
Super great book.
Hmm.
But it doesn't seem like the two of you are like done doing stuff together. You kind of talk rather passionately about
unless
things.
Layla's leaving me to draw her own art based on we absolutely. I mean, I think I don't want to speak for both of us, but I love working with you. Like I love our work together and our collaboration, and I want to work with Layla till the end of time. That's my personal opinion.
Oh, it's the same for me. So I'm, as I said, I will draw, horses for you.
Wow. Must not like drawn horses.
It's an ongoing it's a bit, yeah.
Really?
Layla does not, yes, I'm not supposed to write horses into everything, so I always make jokes that I'm gonna make like a horse story, and like, yeah. That's so funny. Yeah.
So what does that mean is next for you both? If you can tell us, or if you can't, how about as cryptically as possible?
Cryptically, we'll be, I think, we're going to be working on some other stuff. We're going to be working in different universes, which is, I think, is a big, thing. I've already kind of said that, so I think it's fair to say we're going to be exploring, at least one different universe, if not more, which is really exciting for us because we're getting to tell, stories that are different and challenging. And I'm sure we will find our way back to the Hyde Street universe eventually. But that's going to be, exciting for us. I don't know, Layla, do you want to add anything?
No, I'm no.
I think we're excited. Yeah.
It's a secret for right now.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
We haven't officially announced anything yet. So I think just knowing that we are continuing to work together and we are continuing our process and diving into things that are maybe different than what we've done up until now, which I think is going to be a great, fun little challenge for us and exciting to dive into some new things.
Yes.
And just to make sure for the Ghost Machine fans, when you say different universes, you're still talking about the 4 universes contained within Ghost Machine.
Yes. Sorry, I should have been much clearer. Like different universes within the Ghost Machine universe. Like we're still working obviously within Ghost Machine, but just we're exploring different parts of Ghost Machine that we have not had the opportunity to yet up until now.
Oh man, that's awesome to hear. That's exciting.
I have guesses in my head already.
Totally, yeah. And I'm not even going to throw them out there because I don't want to harass you too.
Then you're going to judge my facial expressions. What you say,
right? Yeah,
I'm just going to keep it in my brain, so then when it's announced, I can be like, I was right.
I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, that's really great news, you guys. That's exciting. So, looking forward to wherever that leads us. Well, hey, it's been amazing having you both on the show. I can't tell you enough how much of a pleasure it is for us to be able to interact with people like you. It's truly the reason that we do this, and it's why we format our podcast in a way so that people who love your work as much as we do can intimately get to know you and your process and everything. And I just can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for doing this with us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, thank you for having us. This has been great. No, this has been a true pleasure. It's always great talking to you guys, and I'm so excited that Leila and I got to do this together.
The same for me, especially it's my first podcast, so I'm happy it was with you. So it will be
Really
good
honored.
memories.
That means so much to us that you were willing to do that. Thanks a lot. You rock. And if you'd like to check out all of our other content, you can do that by going to www.ghostmachinefans.com, where you'll find our social platforms, our wiki, and if you'd like to join the conversation on Discord, you can find the invitation on our profile on Instagram or in the announcements on Reddit.
Thanks so much for joining us on
The Ghost Machine Fan Podcast.
Yes.
Superstar Creator Podcast.